It's just straight black and white. It's a finance inventory sheet. I use, in most cases, I use the same sheet for final expense as I do for mortgage protection. I use the same sheet for final expense as I do for mortgage protection. When I get to the house, of course, I've told them on the phone who to expect, what I look like, what I drive, what I'm going to show them when I'm standing at their front door, okay? Because I want them to be warm when I get to the door rather than cold and evil. Because you do know they can be cold and evil, right? Yeah. Okay, so I want them warm when I get there. So I tell them, you're going to be looking for a guy. Don't forget, my name is Gaylin. It's not David. I don't know how they get that confused. They do that sometimes. I've had to stand at the door and reconvince them, no ma'am, I told you my name was Gaylin, not David. So you remember me telling you about the big beard? Oh yeah, I remember that. Well, look at me. Remember me telling you about the Ford truck, black? Yeah, go over there to your window and look. I saw you looking when I pulled up. Just look back out the window. It's me, it's Gaylin. So I show them my ID badge, which is usually around my neck. My state license on one side, Family First Life on the other side. I show that to them front and back. Because some people have told me, well, you know, you ain't got no ID, you're not coming in. So I had to fix that problem real quick. Because this is the only thing I do to take care of my family. I don't have 2 jobs. I mean, I know some of you are transitioning, but 2 jobs are for 2 people, and I'm still one person. I look like 2. I'm just saying. But getting in the home, I tell them, hey, ma'am, sir, I need to get to a table. You lead, I will follow. While I'm on my way to the table, I find something interesting in the house for me to talk about, getting to my table. When I get to that table, sit down with them, sometimes the wife gets amnesia. You know what I mean by that, right? The husband answers the door. He wants to be the macho man in the house. He wants to take me to the table and act as though I did not tell them that both of them had to be present. So when Sean was talking about those 3 things, I had to work on being, what would you call it? Kind enough to say, hey, ma'am, sir, could you do me a favor? Where's Miss Jones? Oh, well, she's upstairs. Do you mind going to get her? She needs to be at the table. And, you know, sometimes, you know, the man might be bigger than me. So I have to be a little bit more extra kind at that point. Well, sir, the reason why I need her to meet me today is because if you are kind enough to write a policy with me for your family, you die. When I leave, your wife was never going to know who she needed to talk to. He said, oh, that makes sense. Okay, great. Go grab her for me, please. It's literally that simple. And then for the ones who are a little extra, well, nah, I don't really want her involved. Well, sir, the only other thing about this, let me ask you one other thing, sir. Do you have friends you ever loan money to that your wife know nothing about? Yeah, I got a couple of partners like that. Okay, cool. Have you imagined them bringing their money to her when you die? Oh, no, they're not going to do that. Well, it's the same thing can happen if you don't get her down to the table. Same process. So then he gets up and go get that woman and bring her to the table. Okay? So I sit down and I tell them, okay, you know, because of everything that's happening in America, there's a couple of things we have to do first. I need you to grab your driver's license for me. Ma'am, while you at it, just bring your whole pocketbook, because your pocketbook is probably like my wife's pocketbook. It's got everything we need in it. She always laughs. She goes and gets that bag, he gets his wallet, and I tell them I need their driver's license. I did it kindly. I wasn't aggressive, not yet. I was super kind. I asked nicely for everything that I wanted, and they give you everything you ask for. The only thing you don't receive is that you don't ask for. Okay? So I tell them, here's what we're going to do today. I'm here because you sent this in. this is whatever lead that's sitting in front of me. If it's mortgage, I'm here because you sent this mortgage protection lead in because in the event something happened to you, you wanted your family to have some sort of option. Correct? Correct. Yes. Great. So here's what we're going to do today. I'm going to sit down with you and your wife. I'm going to ask you a bunch of questions. You're going to give me the answers. You know, that's when it starts to be a little aggressive. You're going to give me the answers. Once you give me the answers, I'm going to fill out this sheet right here. By the time I get to the bottom of this sheet, I will have figured out which direction we're going to travel in today. Does that make sense to you, sir? Does that make sense, ma'am? You never want to say, does it make sense to one person? You know why? Because the other one starts to feel disrespected. Yeah, it happens. You know, people get it, they feel it. So, once I've done that, I tell them that I'm going to put together 3 or 4 plans. You're going to choose the best plan that fits your budget in the event that there's a blowout on that nice, pretty car out there. Well, Gaylin, why you say the car? Because I was looking at the tires and it was 19s. It's an odd size tire. That tire costs more than a 20. So I need you to make sure that it's affordable if you got to pay $300 for that tire and $200 for this. Okay, that makes sense. Sometimes you have to find something that they can relate to. And then if they don't have any kids, I also will tell them this needs to be affordable in the event that your niece and nephew that you're giving everything to calls you for something again. And they laugh. I know that because I have nieces and nephews. Everybody always wants something. Nobody wants to do any work to get it. I'm just saying. I guess that's why they call them kids. But anyway, moving forward, I already have their driver's license in front of me because I have them tell me what their date of birth is. They give me the date of birth. Then I have them to pronounce their first and last name for me because, you know, some people got weird names. I try not to mess them up. And I tell them if I cannot pronounce it, do you mind me calling you Mr. and Mrs.? Because I don't want to screw your name up. And they usually laugh, well, let me help you. And they'll try for about 5 minutes. That's about all I'm going to get in that little what do you call that warming up the room? That small talk. That's all I need at that point. Because now it's about business. Well, according to looking at this house, did it take both of you out to qualify for the mortgage? And I wait. They answer. Okay, well, John, what is your monthly income? And if John has a puzzled look on his face, Jermaine, I look and say, no, John, never mind. Tracy, what's John's income? And that's how John do. He start laughing. So, okay, she gives me his income. Now, Tracy, what is yours? She'll give it to me. John's income was only $1,000. Tracy's income was $5,000. Looks weird on paper, but it is what it is. Also, Tracy was 61, and John was 56. But I still told Tracy, here's what we're going to do today, sweetie. We have to absolutely put a plan together for the both of you. Because it took both of you out to qualify for the property. Does that make sense? That's before she asked me why we both got to be involved, and before he asked me why we both got to be involved. I try to hit everything first so you don't get to come back at me with anything. But that check, because that's all I need. Make sense? Okay. So I combined their income. In this case, the mortgage was $974.35. I looked at the husband. I said, well, sir, do you do anything with the grandkids or nieces, nephews, anything like that? He said, oh, yeah, man, they always calling for everything. I said, okay, great. So if you got a phone call that month and you had to make that $974 and you only got $1,000 coming in, do you see where that might offset life a little bit? Oh yeah, man, that's why we got you sitting here. Okay, awesome. You know, really at that point, the sale was complete. I could have just stopped and went straight to pricing, but I'm not that kind of dude. Because I still hadn't found everything I need to find in the house. Got the income down. They overinflated the value, which they always do. He told me the house was worth 180. Clearly, when I looked it up, it was barely worth 120,000. But I gave him his 180. Made him feel good about himself. Because he did a lot of work on his own, and you can really tell it. I'm just saying. I tell them my goal today is to protect this mortgage anywhere from 10% to 100% of his loan balance, even if it includes covering 1 year of mortgage payments, 2 years of mortgage payments, 3, 5, or 10 years of payments. Does that make sense to you, sir, ma'am? Yeah, Gaylin, that kind of makes sense. Well, I'm going to go in a little deeper detail in just a few minutes. But I wanted to make sure you understood the whole reason why I'm here today. It's to protect this mortgage. If we can't do it at 100, we may be able to do it at 50. We can't do it at 50, we may can do it at 75. Does that make sense to you? Yes, that makes sense. Okay, great. But don't forget, we may just cover a set number of years of payments. Because she might want to give you some options, and you might want to give her some options. So I just killed out that other one. I got to cover the whole thing or nothing at all. You don't get to tell me that. I got all that in the beginning. So they don't get to use that no more. The one thing about every house that Mike told me after those first 30 days of me screwing up was that, Gaylin, all of the objections are going to be the same. I was like, man, I'm saying to myself, I didn't tell him, saying to myself, ain't no way. All these people different. Terry, every house I went in that gave me that objection, they all sound the same. It just came from a different person. The voice probably was deeper, kind of less squeakier, but it was all the same. Nothing changed about what they said. Let me think about it. It sounds exactly the same no matter who you hear it from. Because you realize one thing is about to go down. You walked in on 0 and you leave it out with 0. So you have to realize that 0 is not an option. That's how I look at it now. So I try to cover everything first. Getting down to this particular situation, the lady says, I'm healthy. I ain't taking no medications, haven't been prescribed anything. I was like, wow. So you've had no prescriptions in the last 12 to 36 months that the doctor gave to you with your name printed on it. Oh yeah, he did give me some medication. Oh, okay, not a problem. On top of that, she says, well, the medication that he gave me, it was something I took for breast cancer. Oh! Well, thank God you're healthy right now. And that's what I said. Thank God you're healthy right now. So, she says, does that mean I can't qualify? No, ma'am, that's not what that means. It just means that we might have to change and adjust our hopes just a little bit. And they smiled. Because I didn't say you can't get covered. I just said I got to adjust your hopes, because your hopes don't adjust. Talking to the husband, he says, well, Gaylin, I've not had any prescriptions, but I suffer from my joints swelling up. So, okay, so what you doing for that? I said, do you know what they call that? Have you been to the doctor? They said anything to you about it? No, I haven't been to the doctor yet. I mean, that's typical for me. We don't go to the doctor. Oftentimes, we got to work, you know, and then not to mention most of us are crazy anyway. We're just not going. It is what it is. So he proceeded to tell me his situation, which ended up being something non-medical. He's a dude that takes a lot of herbs. And then I had to ask about the herbs. Yeah, I had to ask about the herbs. But he said it soothes my pain. The more he talked, Terry, the more I understood. He ain't got no card for that herb yet. I'm just saying. Long story short, I tell them, I said, well, okay, well, one thing is, do you have a full understanding of different types of insurances? Whole life, term, universal life, you understand all of those? Kind of, sort of, Gaylin. Okay, great. What policies do you currently own right now? Well, I got work. No, ma'am, not work, because you're participating at work. You don't own. There's a difference. When people say they have work insurance, they have no insurance. It's no good to you, and it's no good to them if they get sick, because they were only a participant in the policy and not an owner of the policy. It's kind of like renting. If you got a lease, they can find a reason to put you out when they don't want you there no more. But if you own a home, you got to miss some payments to get thrown out. Like another house I went to, the guy was sick of the homeowners association, but when you took a look at the outside of his house, I understand why he was tired of them. They were sick of him too, because he could not be my neighbor. His grass was like knee high. I thought the house was abandoned, but it wasn't abandoned. He got wrecked boats and some of everything along the side of the house, and I'm like, you didn't just buy this, did you? He's like, no, I refinanced it. I said to myself, I can tell. This is why you don't like your community. I got it. Anything that acts like life insurance. 401ks, annuities, TSPs, CDs, savings. And then I had something else recently that just kind of got chunked in my face, and it had me speechless. The man said, well, yeah, I got some thousands of dollars in my mattress, sir. I said, no, sir, that's not on here. That's not on here. We have to justify where it came from. And he talked a little bit more. Yeah. Started having a conversation I didn't want to be a part of. Didn't know who was listening. I have an iPhone. It does speak to me when I don't ask it no questions. Anyway, we found, after I asked that one question, the wife says, oh, by the way, at my old job, I had a 401k, and I think it's still sitting there. I said, oh my God, you think? You don't know? She says, no, I think it's still there. Okay, great. You know the little papers they send you in the mail? Go grab that for me right quick, and I'm going to go ahead and put together the 3 plans for you. And while you're gone, by the time you come back, can you do me a favor? Could you go grab me that bottle of water real fast? Everybody gets up and do exactly what I instructed them to do. It's literally that simple. She brings me back the statement. I tell her, look, I have an app on here called Scanner Pro. I'm going to scan a copy of this paper that you're giving to me. I'm going to schedule an appointment for next week, same time. Because if it was good this week, Terry is good next week. Same time. We don't need you to look at your calendar. It's the same time next week. We're going to come back and we're going to talk about this. But right now, we're going to complete this. This being what I came for today. I sit down, put together the options. Full mortgage, half the mortgage, third of the mortgage, and a 5-year pay option. That's taking the mortgage payment time 5 years, and it tells you what that number is. In my opinion, I met every need with 4 options. Yes, you know I got 5 minutes. I met every need with just those options. Only difference in the mortgage appointment versus the final expense appointment is final expense. The thing, and I got this from someone, you get good at putting stuff in your bag that don't belong to you in Family First Life. It's not called stealing, it's called copying. I copied this from Mike. I called him one day, Mike, these old people are really, they just own me, bro. I'm not winning. I don't know what to do with them. They beat me. When I'm getting ready to ask a question, they already beat me to the finish line. So it leaves me there like, And that's just beginning to be irritating. He still gave him 3 questions. Question number 1, you got some insurance, but not enough. Question number 2, you want to leave a legacy for someone that you're currently helping today when you're gone. Number 3, you ain't got no insurance at all. Which one of them fits your situation? And they just start rattling stuff off. Well, I got a policy. Do me a favor, run upstairs and grab that for me real quick. Well, I don't have a policy. What's the name of the company? What we see? Get your bank statement. Let me see what's on your bank statement. They hand me the bank statement when they can't get me a policy. By the time they say, well, Gaylin, I already dialed the insurance company on the telephone. I don't give you a chance to say no. I ask only a couple of questions. I'm trying to make sure that Mr. John and Miss Mary here will have coverage at least to age 100. That's after we go through the verification with them for the policy. Oftentimes, the agent on the other end will ask, so are you an agent? No, ma'am, I'm a friend of the family. So let me get your name again, and I'll give him my name. So you don't have a number? No, ma'am, I don't have a number. I'm just a friend of the family. Because if you say you're an agent, they don't give much information to their own customers. They'll call them right back. If you sit there long enough, they'll dial them right back. I'll ask them, what kind of value is in the policy? Value meaning, does it have cash value yet? How long have they had it? Because if they don't have a policy, they don't know. Once I get that information down, I pretty much know the first quarter of this year, I did everything. I only did final expense business the first full quarter of the year. I wanted to prove to myself that I could just do final expenses by itself. And did very well doing it. You just have to kind of outsmart them. Because if you don't outsmart them, they will outsmart you. And when they outsmart you, you leave the same way you came. Empty-handed. So you have to do it that way. Once you've got those policies in your hand, from them, a lot of the policies have at the top bold print, policy expires at age blank. So a lot of times you don't have to call your manager when you can see something in black and white. It tells you it expires. Show it to the client. Policy increases every 5 years. It's in the policy. But if you ain't reading the policy, they ain't never opened the policy, then you call and asking questions that we can't even answer for you. Because you the one in the house. Open the policy up. Most people I tell, especially seniors, one of my strongest deals with seniors is this. Ma'am, I'm willing to bet you $5 today that if I send you upstairs to get your policy, it's in the same envelope that it was mailed to you 20 years ago, and you've never opened it. And then just look at their face. Don't feel bad. It happens to everybody. Go ahead and go grab it for me real quick, okay? It opens them up to say, okay, wow, he already knew I had never opened this policy. So you win. You figure out in your conversations how to win, and you win almost every time. So, I've never been told but one time in the first 3 months of the year from a lady in Carolina. She didn't tell me, her boyfriend came out the back and told me, you wasting your blank time writing that application. She ain't got no banking account to pay it with. I'm like, wow, he wouldn't even come up front, but he heard me say I need a banking account number. So I said, who you got insurance with, buddy? That ain't none of my business. Yes, it is. Y'all married? Are y'all kind of coexisting together? How we doing this? He come back up front. First, he was a little nasty at first. My attitude, my voice, nothing changed about me. I still asked all of the questions that I wanted to, that I need answers to. And he says, well, I got an account, but I don't want to put her stuff on them. I said, okay, well, I mean, it's fairly simple. You told me you got about $5,600 in the bank. What I'm going to do, I'm going to do it the simple way. I'm going to do this application because she asked me to do it. But I need you to prepare If I leave tonight and she passes away, I want you prepared to stroke that check for $5,600 to the mortuary. And ma'am, if you ain't got no insurance, you ain't got no checking account, it probably means that you ain't had nothing to save. So I need you to figure out how he's going to get buried. I got both of y'all information. I've been here for 18 minutes. Y'all call me after you get it figured out. I'm out. That's the only time I get aggressive, when you start being stupid with me. Because I realized, in my last minute, I realized one thing about this business. We have a job to walk in a home, to figure out what clients need. If we don't supply the need, they don't have the coverage. I've seen clients this year that have been mailing payments out to an insurance company and the policy don't even exist. So you cannot keep going in a house taking the same objections. If you take 20 phone numbers out of this room today and call everybody and ask them when the last time you got this objection, it's going to always sound identically the same. It just came from a different person. So get good at what you do. The test wasn't easy. If it was, the room would be just completely overflowing. It'd be like going to the club, standing room only. So if you're in this business, get good at being in this business. Ask questions. Don't be afraid to ask questions. There's nothing you have to figure out. The worksheet does all the work for you. Gaylin, how do you get your annuities off of that worksheet? If you ask the questions, they would just start chunking stuff at you, and you got to tell them to shut up for a minute because you're trying to process what they're trying to explain. But if you're not using the sheet, you can't get to any money, not even to a premium payment. So, without further ado, I met this gentleman a while ago. I believe it was at a conference. He sat down to a table with Michelle and I enjoyed his company at the table. Didn't even know his name. I don't even remember whether I asked him his name, but I just enjoyed his personality. Every time I see him, it makes me want to be more and more and more like him. They said, Gaylin, why do you want to be like somebody? Because you just see people you want to be like. So I give you none other than my buddy and one of my greatest partners at Family First Life, Mike Schroeder.
Gaylin's the man who got me chest bumped out of a house. And I don't take chest bumps.